we decided it would be fun to do a 10-year anniversary kind of like questionnaire.
Yep.
Is that what we call it? And so we have some questions here. We haven't seen them yet, so it's a little bit of a surprise. And they might be questions that you have about what it's like to be married 10 years later, or
What happened throughout the 10 years, right? I don't know what's on the question.
I don't know what's in the question. All right. Number 1. After 10 years of marriage, is your love language the same as it was your first year of marriage? That's a good one.
I would say it's the same, but the levels are different. So mine probably was, words of affirmation and physical touch. Definitely a lot more physical touch than words of affirmation. Now it's kind of like balanced, I guess you could say.
I think mine has changed. Well, as I'm growing as a person, I think I'm still figuring myself out in different ways. So I think they're changing a little bit.
Now that you have been married for 10 years, what does for better or worse really mean to you today?
Dang, that's deep. We have 2 children now. We've gone through a lot together. So I guess it's more real. I feel like we have more of that kind of foundation, whereas in the beginning, for better or for worse, was just a few more words. It wasn't as serious or as solidified, I guess.
I think we've learned how to approach for better or for worse. So I feel like we're a team in it. I don't know why when I said for better or for worse, it was almost like an individual decision when I first said those words 10 years ago. But now I feel like we're saying that together, for better or for worse. So
You're so cute. All right, number 3. List 2 or 3 qualities that you find more attractive today in one another than you did your first year of marriage.
I enjoy Maria's ability to somehow connect the dots in my mind. I think she sees me factoring it out, and when she wants to expedite it, she just connects the dots. And I'll give you just a quick example. Like maybe I'm ordering something and she knows what I want. I think there was something that had to do with Oakley, and it needed to happen right then and there because it was a matter of safety, and she just saw me calculating it. And she knew I knew what to do, but she just said, Omar, do it. I did it, and Oakley was better for it. So
I give him that push then, I guess?
yeah. I didn't like that at the beginning. I did not like that at the beginning. I thought she was trying to, control me. But now I appreciate it.
I've always loved his gentle nature and his wise, or I guess old soul. I find it even more and more attractive. His vulnerability with me, and that soft side that I think a lot of men only show their wives. And I love that he has that trust with me and that he can do that with me. I find that attractive.
What priorities have you had to truly reevaluate together?
Faith and family. I think that's something that we always reevaluate. Like how we can always put God first more so in our marriage and our family, and how we can be better parents to our children.
How we are as parents and how we are as husband and wife, those are big deals to us.
With 10 years under your belt and perhaps a few wilderness trials, adventures, how have you become teachable to one another?
Go ahead. I don't know why you're looking at me for this one.
At the beginning of our marriage, we took initiative and advantage of the different opportunities that our churches have offered us for like marriage classes and kind of like counseling sessions on how to counsel other marriages and how to communicate better within your own marriage. So we've gone to a lot of classes, we've read a lot of books, and I think that's helped us have that kind of teachable spirit. Obviously there were times during those classes or during those books where like we had to confront things and we got in arguments or things like that, but they really helped us.
Yeah.
Who has the more teachable spirit? Omar.
Do I?
I think so.
RESPECT, 10 years is a good stretch of time to show and learn respect. How have you grown to respect your spouse? More importantly, how have you learned to respect your one another?
Huh?
I think it's important to learn the definition of what your wife or husband thinks is respect. Because if you never understand that definition, you'll never be able to respect them. You yourself need to get over your definition of respect before you try and give your spouse respect, because it could be completely different.
Did we answer the question? I've grown to respect my spouse more because obviously we face different challenges, we communicate more. With the prevalence of social media, littles, and busy schedules, how have you learned to be fully attentive to one another? I don't think we are fully attentive to one another,
No.
but we get why we aren't.
Exactly. No, that's exactly right. Now that you're 10 years in, what would you do over?
Ooh, a lot. I would save more, pay off more debt faster.
I would have really tried to look at what I wanted to do in life and how to get there.
On the day of your wedding, God was the guest of honor. Yes, He was. How has He shown His love and mercies to both of you during the last 10 years?
The first thing I think about is our babies. That's the first thing. I cherish every moment that the Lord has given us with them, because I know this is a difficult subject for a lot of couples, and I don't want to take for granted the fact that Maria and I got pregnant like right away. You know, when I see Oakley and Mercy, I just think I don't deserve this. I honestly sometimes feel like I'm living somebody else's life and somebody's gonna wake me up because they're so precious. I just, they're right there, and I just hold them so tight, and it just means the world to me.
That one almost made me cry.
10
10 for 10 years. What have you asked God for in your marriage that God has fulfilled for each of you? Let's be real. I go through phases of, I love you, and then I also go through phases where I'm like, I don't like you right now. And so during those moments, I really pray for God to open my heart to my husband and to give me a new perspective in our marriage. And when I seek God in that way, He always comes through for me.
I think I took that question differently, but 1, 2, 3. 3 things that before we were married, I would always pray about, even before I met Maria, was that I didn't want to be alone. Another thing that I am truly blessed with is finding a spouse in this life to live life with me. Number 2 was I wanted to be a father, and so that came 7 years later for us in our marriage, and he's met that. And then number 3 was I wanted to be able to provide for my family. Even as a teenager, that was a big thing for me. I want to be able to provide for somebody in that way. He's met all those needs and all those prayers, and I'm just so eternally thankful. So everything else feels like gravy to me, to be honest. And that's it.
That's it. Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.
And so I think that has stopped.